Crashed at the north end of the airport, not far from our aviation hangar. There are multiple deaths, and we are doing a death investigation at this time. Should have tried a takeoff from this airport at 7:15 this morning. The airport was totally socked in with fog. This aircraft attempted to take off from the south to the north on the main runway, and for reasons unknown, crashed at the north end of the airport, not far from our aviation hangar. There are multiple deaths, and we are doing a death investigation at this time. NTSP has been notified. They will certainly do the crash investigation. We were assisted by Polk Fire Rescue, which put out the fire. We know upon impact that there was a huge fire. One of our helicopter pilots was in the hangar, heard the plane starting to take off, and thought to himself, my gosh, I can't believe someone's trying to take off in this weather. And he said it was just seconds later that he heard the change in the pitch of the blades and the impact at the north end of the airport, not very far from our hangar. This is a very sad situation. We are not releasing the identity of the plane or of the occupants. There are multiple occupants. I can tell you, I know personally at least one of the people on the plane and have known him for years and years and years. As soon as it's appropriate, we will reconvene and I'll give you that information. But certainly our hearts go out to the families of these folks who were apparently departing for some holiday festivity. And that's my assumption. And we're confirming the identities as well as we can, or the people that were supposed to be on the airplane. And as soon as we talk to their families, we'll be back in touch with you.
Without stating a name, could you say if any children were in there?
No, I won't release any other information as to the identity of the people until we can sufficiently track down who all was supposed to be on the airplane.
Sheriff, were there any survivors? You knew. Do you know if the plane was in the air and came back down for the crash, or if it had left the runway at all?
Do you know, I am not a plane crash investigator, but from all indications, the plane was in the air and came back to the ground, and no, there was no survivors. No chance of anybody surviving.
Sheriff, looking at the damage, I mean, it looks like they had no chance.
There was no chance of survival. When you look at the crash, the only thing that you can say is nobody suffered.
Sheriff, it was 4 on board?
I'm not releasing how many's on board. Nice try.
Sheriff, it sounds like this is a tough press conference for you to hold if you knew one of the gentlemen on board.
It's not the first time. I mean, when you're born and raised in a community, you know everyone, or you know someone who knows everyone. And this county's a little over 600,000, and I know a whole lot of people. And it breaks my heart for anyone, whether I know them or not. So we are working with our crime scene detectives and our investigators, our death investigation team, to do the initial investigation at the scene. I will be back in touch with you to give you further details just as soon as we have the opportunity to obviously we can't make a positive identification, but as long as there's a preponderance of evidence of who was on the plane and that the families know that.
Was there a 911 call for help?
I don't know how the calls came in.
Should the airport have been closed?
I can't speak to what FAA regulations are. I can tell you that our aviation wasn't flying. And the video clip that I saw that we possess now clearly indicated no one should have attempted to take off in a small plane in that weather.
Where's that video?
I can't tell you where that video clip's from. Well, actually I could, but I'm not. It's confidential. But we certainly, this thing will unfold. We are just very soon after the crash into the investigation. We want to be exceptionally sensitive to the families of those who lost a loved one. I mean, it's a tragedy any day of the week. It is a worse tragedy on Christmas Eve. It's just manifested by the time of year and the holidays when our families are growing closer together. And that's what I tell everybody. Hug your children today and your grandchildren a little tighter. And say prayers for the family of these folks on the airplane.
Was this
Sheriff
the
Judd,
grandfather?
considering you knew this, at least one of the families involved here, what do you want to say to them?
Well, I think it's clear that our heart breaks for them. And they're, you know, and once again, we have not identified who all was on the plane exactly. We know there are multiple deaths. Our heart breaks. You know, certainly we wish we could rewind this. And if we could, you know, I would wrestle him to the floor to keep him from getting in that airplane this morning.
Do you know where they were headed?
I do.
Would you be willing to share that with us?
No. But I will later.
Are you able to say what? I know the initial release said twin-engine aircraft. Are you able to say what type of plane it was?
I could, but I'm
Later.
not.
Okay.
Later. Okay. Thank you all very much. Have a good day. I'll be in touch.
When's the next news conference?
We don't know when I'll brief you next. You really know everything officially that we know because we've not identified the people. But as soon as I'm comfortable that we have identified the people and their relatives,
Okay.
then I'll be back to give you further details. Once again, I can't officially say who they are until total positive identification has occurred. But as you know, we release the information we can as soon as we can. And, you know, anything that I say right this second is subject to change as the investigation unfolds.
Polk County Fire said at least 4. Can you confirm
I
that?
will not confirm that, and I don't think they can confirm that. Okay? If they release that, they shouldn't have. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.